Week 18, lesson 3. Okay, so the last lesson was on something called the product rule, and now it kind of makes sense and it goes hand in hand that you'll learn something called the quotient rule. So if you're looking up here in the box, you can see that if you're taking the derivative of a quotient, and then here's the formula. All right, now I learned this handy dandy little sort of mnemonic rhymey thing when I was in high school. It sort of has stuck with me, so I'm going to teach it to you. So the way I learned it from Mrs. Black is low, D high, minus high, D low, square the bottom, and away we go. Okay, so again, I will say it and you can kind of figure out what it means, but it's low D high minus high D low, square the bottom, and away we go. All right, so here we go. We're going to find the derivative of this quotient. This is how I know it. Low D high minus high D low, square the bottom, and away we go. All right, now on the product rule, right, from the last lesson, the order that you did them made no difference at all. There's a plus sign in between them. This one is unbelievably important because of the subtraction, okay? You have to get the order of these things right, and I think that's why I tend to rely so much on that little, sing-songy thing. But now we're not done. We do actually need to distribute here and distribute a negative 2x over here. All right, so cleaning this up a little, we get 5x squared plus 5 minus 10x squared plus 4x. All of this still over this denominator. All right, so combining like terms, I now have y prime equaling negative 5x squared plus 4x plus 5 all over this denominator of x squared plus 1 squared. Okay, let's scoot this up. Excuse me. Okay, so for this one, it's probably doable the way it stands, but this is a complex fraction, right? When a fraction has other fractions inside of it, it's considered complex and it's kind of hard to deal with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by x over x. I'm going to make it into something that is equivalent, that will just be a little bit easier to deal with. So f of x, when I multiply through by x, top and bottom, becomes 3x minus 1 over x squared plus 5x, which is a lot easier to deal with. All right, so I'm going to switch colors, and now I can go ahead and do the derivative. This is definitely a quotient, so it's going to be low D high minus high D low, square the bottom, and away we go. Okay, now again, you're never going to leave it this way. All right, so I do need to distribute this 3. Over on the right, I need to FOIL and distribute a negative. Okay, now you guys, you're heading to calculus next year. I'm going to do a lot of this sort of all in one step. Okay, so distributing, I get 3x squared minus 15x. All right, and then FOILing and distributing, I'm going to get negative 6x squared, negative 13x, and a positive 5, all over x squared plus 5x squared. Okay, and then as far as I can tell, there are some like terms up there. So negative 3x squared plus 2x plus 5, all over that denominator of x squared plus 5x squared.